And now, a segment by Airmen for Airmen. It's What's Up Wednesday. What's Up Wednesday with the Command Chief.
Good morning. You just heard it. It's What's Up Wednesday, and Chief Master Sergeant Nancy Judge is in here with me. How you doing today, ma'am?
Doing great. How are you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. And you know, with What's Up Wednesday, it's about time we actually have a question that starts off with what's up. So, what's up with the off-base restrictions?
Alrighty. Well, in the past few weeks, we've had quite a few spontaneous sort of protests going on outside the gates in reference to several different things that have been going on. One was the mosque damage that we discussed a few weeks ago. And then, of course, the last time I was here when we discussed Patriot Movement and the Army and the Dutch and the Germans being here. So what happens is we get, late-breaking news, if you want to say, that there's protests, and we have to close gates and do things to keep people on base. So that's really what it is. It's not that we're just trying to mix things up, but there is a serious threat, and not a serious threat, but there is a potential for our service members to be caught in the middle, and we don't want that to happen.
Yeah, it's just better safe than sorry restrictions.
Right.
Okay, so what happens if we go off base and then there's a restriction put in place?
Well, if you go off base and then a restriction gets put in place, if you find out about the restriction, first of all, you should remove yourself from the area if you're in that restricted area. You know, a lot of this stuff happens on D400, in the alley, up through the railroad tracks, down by the mosque, those types of places. So if you're in those areas, the first thing you should do is get out of those areas. The second thing you should do is come back to base. Nobody's going to get, in trouble if they were off base when a restriction went into place. We just ask that you use caution and immediately remove yourself from the area just for your own safety.
Okay, so that's pretty simple. Try to get back to base if you can. And what happens if you go off base during a restriction, but you didn't know there was a restriction?
Again, our security forces are doing a pretty good job of making sure that people know about the restriction as they go off the base. You still can travel off the base for official business, for going to the airport, for TDYs or anything like that. So that can still happen. If you happen to get off the base and not know there was a restriction, and then you find out there is one, or you see protests in the alley or places, you should probably come back. You should come back to base. And again, we're not going to hang anybody unless you're just doing it defiantly. But again, things happen, and we understand that not everybody gets the word as quickly as we'd like. And again, these things are a lot of times happening at the last minute. On a Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning, which is what happened last weekend.
Yeah.
These things happen at the last minute, and we understand that not everybody's getting the word, and we just want everybody to be safe, that's all.
Okay, well, where do people find out about these restrictions?
Well, many squadrons are doing recalls, but you can always go to your AFN channel. I think it's channel 5, I believe, is where it's scrolling at.
Yeah.
Where I saw it last weekend. It'll scroll down there. You can also quick look at the CAC channel. And they should be putting the slides up there for that. But the main thing is, if you're not sure or you're hearing rumors, the best thing to do is to call your leadership, call your supervisor, and let that filter down through the chain of command. And most likely your commanders are going to know immediately. Colonel Craig gets that out pretty quick. Again, it takes time to notify everybody in an organization, especially a large organization. We're not, our main thing is we want people to be using good judgment, and we want everyone to be safe. We always talk about where we are in the world. We are very close to the Syrian border. We have Patriot missiles here at the request of the Turkish government. And we need to be careful, and we need to understand that there's a lot more going on than just our little base here at Incirlik, and we all need to understand that we want everyone to be safe. That's the bottom line. We just want people to be safe, and stay away from any areas where you see people gathering, for sure.
Okay. Well, why is the gate still open if there's restrictions? If we're not supposed to be going off base, are we able to?
Okay, so the gate is still open because we still have Turkish nationals that need to go in and out of the gate for work business, for work reasons, whether they're coming on base to work or going off base. We also have some civilians specifically contractors, American contractors, and some of our school teachers over at the Dodd School there. Some of them do live off the installation. So we have to allow them to, go in and out of the gate as well. And remember that the gate is a Turkish controlled and Turkish run gate. So they have to make the decision to close the gate. All we can do is restrict travel for our folks in and out of the base.
Okay. And here's one last one. What should we do if inadvertently we come across protest or angry people off base?
Okay, again, if you come across a mass gathering and the first thing you should do is get out of the area. Under no circumstances should you confront people or yell things back at them. You should never do that. Just get out of the area, get to a safe place. The other thing is get back to base as soon as you can. Okay, that's probably the most important thing. But on top of that, you should also report it to 676 EYES, EYES. And that will take you directly to our law enforcement here on the base and our OSI, and they'll and tell them what you saw and what was happening, so that they can then make a threat assessment and let Colonel Craig know what's going on. But under no circumstances should anybody ever confront protesters. You should always leave the area.
Okay. Is there anything you wanted to add about the off-base restrictions?
No, I just want everybody to. I ask everybody for their patience as we travel and as we go through this this transition with the Patriot missiles here on the base, and we know that it's inconvenient, and we know that it disrupts travel plans, and you can trust me that Colonel Craig does not take these decisions he does not take them lightly. He understands that we're disrupting people's lives and their weekend time. It always seems to happen on weekends. Well, that's because the Turks work during the week too, so they protest on the weekends. So, the bottom line is we ask your patience, and please understand that we're doing everything we can to minimize disruption to our airmen and their families.
Oh, well, thank you very much. And I hope everyone has gotten the message and understands a little bit more about the restrictions. And, people might get upset over it, but it's for your own safety.
That's right.
Thank you very much for coming in this morning.
Thank you, and have a great Wednesday.
You too. Coming up next, we've got fun right here on AFN Incirlik the Eagle, serving America's best.